There are new concerns about any potential threats to the homeland after the U.S. attack on Iran. The FBI is now investigating this evening a horrific and deadly shooting in Austin, Texas. 2 killed, more than a dozen injured. What authorities say the suspect was wearing, and now federal authorities are investigating the motive amid heightened concern across the U.S. tonight. Here's Pierre Thomas.
Tonight, potential evidence that what's happening in Iran may have a direct impact right here at home. Early Sunday morning, the ominous sound of gunfire as a nightmare unfolds outside of an Austin, Texas nightclub.
Is anyone in here injured? No, we're good. Everyone's here.
A man in an SUV using a pistol to randomly fire at people outside the club just before 2 a.m. In seconds, the suspect seen here out on the street, now with a rifle, firing away. In the end, more than a dozen wounded. Witness capturing video of some victims being helped by emergency personnel. 3 of those victims transported to local hospitals in critical condition. 2 dying at the scene. The gunman shot dead by police, ending the vicious assault.
We have families that are at hospital rooms waiting for outcomes from surgery. That's the reality of what we're dealing with today.
The deadly rampage coming hours after the U.S. attack on Iran. The killing of its supreme leader became the biggest story in the world. And tonight, the FBI investigating whether the shooter might have been motivated by those headlines.
There were indicators that on the subject and in his vehicle that indicate potential nexus to terrorism.
Law enforcement sources say this image obtained by Fox News is the suspect, dressed in a hooded sweatshirt bearing the words, "Property of Allah." Sources identifying the alleged gunman as Njaga Janah, a 53-year-old naturalized citizen from Senegal. And sources telling ABC News initial reports to police say he was also wearing a T-shirt making reference to Iran. Authorities also investigating whether the man had mental health issues. While we don't yet know if Iran was the primary motivator in this attack, this kind of lone wolf mass shooting is precisely the kind of random violence that federal law enforcement fears the situation in Iran might evoke.
I think law enforcement authorities are concerned about attacks happening every day. And obviously yesterday with the bombings taking place in Iran, the attacks could come even at a higher rate, but it's your schools, it's your churches, it's your airports.
But the fear of so-called lone wolves acting out because of Iran is hardly the only threat from that country that has law enforcement worried tonight. U.S. officials in recent years have identified a number of Iran-inspired plots, including an alleged plan to kill President Trump.
Tonight, the Justice Department is revealing a suspect with ties to Iran has been arrested, accused of plotting to assassinate government officials in the U.S. Sources tell ABC News Donald Trump was among the potential targets.
One of the suspects in that alleged plot, Asif Merchant, is on trial in Manhattan with a jury soon to decide his fate. Merchant, who is from Pakistan, has pleaded not guilty. Officials claim Iran has also targeted journalists and dissidents here who oppose the regime.
An alleged plot to kidnap an American citizen here in New York City.
The Justice Department says that Iran was behind the plot to kidnap Masih Alinejad, an Iranian-American journalist and author, allegedly even going to the point of tracking her travel and researching how to evacuate her from New York City in a speedboat.
They showed me photos from my private life, the photos of my husband, me walking around, like watering my beautiful garden. They even took picture of my stepchildren.
Going back more than a decade, the U.S. intelligence community and law enforcement organizations came to understand Iran's attack playbook as it relates to the United States. And it really breaks down to several areas of threat-related activity. First, concerns about the potential for physical attacks, targeted attacks by individuals who are Iranian intelligence or military operatives who are able to enter the United States, attacks by individuals who are inspired by Iran based on content that is placed online by Iran intended to inspire attacks.
Sources tell me the FBI is planning to step up surveillance of suspected Iranian operatives, and the Secret Service has expanded its protection of the president, vice president, and all living former presidents. And beyond the threat of violence, U.S. officials tonight worried about Iran's or its proxies' ability to conduct cyber attacks on the U.S. infrastructure, especially so-called denial-of-service attacks. And David, tonight we're learning from sources that the suspect did have an Iranian flag on his T-shirt. The situation could have been so much worse. This was truly the stuff of nightmares, David.
Pierre Thomas with us here tonight as well. Thank you, Pierre.